무뎌가 fingers dance, staring sadly in front of the home he's grown up in, holding a small bundle of his father's dried plants, samples and seeds. In the background there are bystanders criticizing how his father abandoned the family. They say that even though they were also Mudyaga's family had been so different from the rest of them. They guess it was a lesson that one should never reach above one's caste. And they laugh, hearing this Mudyaga is upset. His mother, who has a 3-year-old sister and famine, are strapped to her back, and his grandfather finished loading the last of their belongings onto a hired car. As she and his grandfather board the car, his mother calls him to come on. They were leaving, he turns with tears and boards as the car drives along. He asks his mother, why do we have to move? His mother looks to his grandfather, who shakes his head. His mother comforts him, saying, with your baba gone, we can't afford the house in Bilby Market anymore. I know you're sad about leaving, but hey, once we get to the new house, the City Market will be a lot closer. Tie your friends, Kimo and neighbor here. We can all live together and help each other. Mudyaba nods sadly, and his mother shifts, knocking over one of the bundles on the cart, which falls with a clunk. Seeing the bundle, his grandfather says, what's that? I don't remember us packing anything like that. His other quickly picks up the bundle. It's nothing, just some womanly things. His grandfather eyes the square bundle suspiciously. You did get rid of our buzzword box, right? I told you I burned it. His mother snaps, Mudyaga, recalling the bites you burned by the word box. But me and Babo made that for him. I painted it myself, you burned it. Tears fill his eyes. Oh, Mudyaga, I'm sorry. His mother says, cheering up also. Your grandfather says, Mudyaga, we have to accept that your father's gone south. If we'll hold on to every little thing of his, how can we ever move on? Mudyaga thinks, I know good burning his work box. That was the most precious thing to him. He remembers the tangled legs and the gossip about how his father abandoned them. No, nothing was precious to him. He thinks, not mama, not even FM and not only. He unwraps the bundle of plant samples and seeds and tosses them out of the carriage, thinking, I'll let go too. In a classroom in the maiden's compound, Marapui learns the rules of the palace, along with other Amonte, the instructing. He tells them about the ranks of maidens, eunuchs and officials. She also tells them that eunuchs of the inner palace often have deep connections to the royal house. missed the omote for supper. Omote oluci and ngozi bumpe marav, spilling ink all over her clothes. Homework and the front porch of the classroom. When the A walk by and see her, they are shocked by the sight. Slovenly child, they scold her for her appearance, but it was Oluchi and Ngozi who be quiet. The A orders when Emirave tries to explain what happened, he dare talk back. This is what happens when you take in an urchin with no background. Now clean up this mess as they do. I walk away and laugh, we hears them talking. Do you think we were too harsh? One of them asks, what are you talking about? The other says, oh, Luci's father is a distant relative of the director of the Bureau of Civil Affairs. But that Amuravwe is a child of unknown background. Do you really want to take her side? I wasn't thinking, come, we won't waste our time with the empty shell of a human. Amuravwe looks on at them, surprised and feeling forlorn inside.
As Alzan leaves the Hall of Administration after a meeting with the Council of Advisors, he runs into Tega, age 9, who rushes to him crying, Royal Brother Yuval, Royal Brother Yuval, Omare is dead. They killed him. Aslan says it, Tega, calm down. Speak slowly so we can understand. Aslan bends with a handkerchief to wipe his tears. Eunuch Iro asks Tega's chief, Eunuch Monoro, what is the matter? Eunuch Monoro answers, His Highness wanted some morning exercise with his horse. Oh, Mare, so he went to the royal stables. But when we arrived, we found the horse was dead. He was killed, Prince Tega cries to Aslan. Someone stabbed him with a sword. He was laying on the ground with blood everywhere. Aslan looks horrified from the sobbing Tega to Eunuch Monoro. Ramore is a prize tribute horse from Oman. Sovereign Father gifted him to Etega on his 7th birthday. Yes, Etega solved and someone killed him. Aslan angry demands, who dares? I dare. The Queen Dowager says, coming from the hall. Aslan greets her sovereign mother, Princess Tega hides slightly behind him. As the cutie glares at Tega, but sovereign mother Sega. Aslan says, why did you have it killed? The cutie says, your sovereign father gave him that horse for pleasure, not so he could shirk his duties as a grand prince. But since Ojo Toroge knows that he has done nothing but lock himself in his palace or prance around the racetracks and forest grounds on that horse, neglecting his studies, Aslan says. But it has only been a few months since Sovereign Father, the Q, that interrupts Ithaca.
How did you address Sophie just now? You called him Uvo, did you not? How dare you address him only by his given title? Ovi is no longer the brother who runs to you because of Xxene or useless dead horse. He is Oroje, ruler of Xxene. I forbid you to disturb him with such matters. Aslan, seeing Ithaca's distress, tries to step in. Sovereign the cutie goes on, eunuch Monoro, eunuch Monoro answers, yes, Your Majesty. The cutie continues, I hold you and your staff fully responsible for the prince's misdemeanor. Is this any way for a grand prince to present himself? No, Your Majesty, eunuch Monoro answers, the entire staff in the palace of Philia. Your Majesty glares at him for talking back. Make that 20 lashes. And eunuch Monoro, you will receive 30. Any more objections? And eunuch Monoro bows silently. Aslan alarms his sovereign mother. If you punish all of it, take a staff. Who will serve him? There is no need to worry about that. I have punished his entire staff. So surely as a grand prince, Ithaca must also bear responsibility for his actions. Turning to the prince, she says, the death of that horse is my first and final warning to you regarding neglecting your studies. For the disrespect you have shown over here, you will kneel for the rest of the morning and afternoon in the hall of ancestral rites, and perform 400 formal bows in atonement to the portraits of your ancestors. Eunuch Akbare, you will watch over him. Yes, Your Majesty. Cutie turns to Aslan and smiles sweetly. He's in a time for Ovi's session with his royal tutors. Go on then, Ovi must not be distracted by such trivial matters. The Kyoro escorts him to the compound of the royal library. Aslan looks scared at her change in attitude and thinks, trivial Ithaca is my little brother. Eunuch, you are all answers, yes, Your Majesty. He extends a hand, showing Aslan the way. If Ovi pleases, as he leads Aslan away. Aslan looks back at Ithaca, who stands in tears, watching him dejectedly. As Ovi pleases, as he leads Aslan away. Aslan looks back at Ithaca, who stands in tears, watching him dejectedly. criticism. Xxene is also having a time with his tutors, rejecting the late prime minister's old ways. At a session with the new royal tutors, they begin to instruct him from the 9 volumes of the classics of songs, the songs of government. Though his previous tutors, directed by the late prime minister, had instructed him from the art of government. They had already covered 2 of the 6 volumes when he brings us up to the new tutors. They say that it is the Queen Dowager's will that they change his curriculum. The late prime minister's ways were too radical, and she had instructed them to remove all such documents from his curriculum. Xxene is also feeling constrained by the Queen Dowager's high schedule and expectations for him. As he leaves the study hall, a eunuch appointed by the Queen Dowager to monitor him tells him a list of his next scheduled activities. Feels overwhelmed, but remembers the Queen Dowager's words. You are ever the urge of Xxene. Your duty is to the crowded kingdom, as much as the eunuch. He is on his way and sends him ahead. As he leaves to his next activity, says that though he agrees that the late prime minister's ways tended to be unorthodox, there was much to be learned from the Xxene, one pool of thought and the art of government. And though all 6 volumes of the art of government had been removed from the royal library, he had a personal collection at home which he would be honored to Lord only borrow if he pleased. Says he would like that very much and expresses his gratitude to the royal tutor, who replies that there is no need to thank him and takes his leave.
As he watches the man go, Aslan asks Hero if he sent someone to check on Prince Ortega. Hero says yes. When I received the report, the prince had completed a little over 150 bows. Aslan asks how he doing, and Hero says simply that he had stopped crying. Aslan says completing 400 bows, you'll be punishing to his knees. So Hero makes sure the royal physicians are ready to see to him as soon as he is finished, and make sure he has a proper meal delivered to him.
Hero says, I have already given orders to the physicians in royal kitchens. At this point, Aslan recalls sadly how he promised his sovereign father that he would take care of his siblings. He thinks, but right now I am not Aslan, and I am only a name. Only what can I do? Again, he thinks of the cue. These words, you are only, and your duty is to the crown and kingdom.
What does it mean to be OV? What does it mean to rule a nation when we do not have command even over our lives?
Who cannot protect you? No quiero comfort insane. Being OV means they don't hand himself ordains and anoints OV with his supernatural blessings to lead the kingdom. Because OV is still young, that he might follow the queen dowager and means there's guidance. When he is older, he can truly take over his kingdom. Iroro says, right now her majesty monitors OV's activities even more closely than she does Prince Ada. OV must not go against her. It may even make things more difficult for Lady Emma or Haslan. He has not sent any of its subordinates to check on her lately for fear that the dower may touch on if he does so too. Frequently has one who wonders if MLOV is having as hard time as he is. I said sadly, we wanna see her.
Kidaro says empathetically, I understand I have arranged for my subordinates in the outer palace to keep watch over her and periodically report to me. Yeah. When an opportune time arrives, I will arrange for OV to meet her. As long as expectantly, how is she doing? Face falls now. Well, you know Kiro ends in a bow. May OV forgive me for not reporting to him. I did not wish to trouble him. Osman's face darkens with worry. What is it, Yororo says? I received notice that the lady fell ill, but though her health has recovered, it seems she has lost her memories. But Aslan is surprised she lost her memories. Ira says I believe she was deeply traumatized by the events that occurred. Aslan asks, she does not remember anything. Shakes his head, not even a single shakes his head again. I run is silent for a long time, thinks perhaps this is for the best. But his heart broken and tears well up in his eyes. Yunukiro bends to his knee, trying to comfort him, but Aslan clutches his chest, breathing heavily and weeping. What do we do? We are neither OV nor Aslan, and we cannot protect our siblings or Emma who I do not. Aslan dreams of visiting Imorevli's home on her 6th birthday. How they played in the garden, how she
she presented him with pearl earrings. When he wakes up, he finds Zero at his bedside and tells him he dreamt of when his sovereign father and Xxene power still alive. It says to Hero, we must protect her.
Over then he thinks it is my duty. Look, Iroro not savvy, saying I understand. Me OVA command me, and I shall do my utmost to serve him. But first OVA must care for himself. He tucks Aslan in. May OVA rest more. I shall call the Ayat to serve him his dinner in bed. Aslan Norton closes his eyes, and Iroro walks away from the bed. Prayer made and Dinan is teary-eyed and says, I can't bear to see OVA like this. He's still too young for all this responsibility, and how can Her Majesty be so unsympathetic? How can she treat her children like this? You King says, Grand Maiden Ine, please do not speak such words. You saw today that the Queen Dowager didn't hesitate to kill a gift bestowed by the late Oragio to punish the entire staff of the Palace of Philium Promise. We can't place Ovi in such a predicament. He has already been under much stress since Oragio Terongium's death. The chief royal physician said himself that this list is the reason for his collapse today. It is not our place to comment on the affairs of the royal house. What we must do is serve Ovi and ease his burdens as much as possible. The Grand Maiden says she knows, but Inukiro said he is a child you have nursed and raised from birth, and I have been by his side just as long. Kiss his breast pains me too. They look at each other with understanding, and Iman says she'll go see to Ovi's meal.
Chiro returns to Alan's side, watching him tenderly. His look becomes determined, and he says if Ovi wishes to protect his siblings and Lady Ember of Aya, he must stand against the Queen Dowager. Aslan opens his eyes. But you said before that we must not oppose her. Aurora says yes, Ovi is still young and must submit not only to her guardianship but to her regency as well. Her Majesty holds the highest authority in the Sun's court, and as her son, Ovi must not do anything that may be seen as immoral. Aslan sits up. Then how do we stand against her? With time, you answers. There is a saying among the generals, rather than make the first move, it is better to wait and see. Rather than advance an inch, it is better to retreat a yard. Ovi must bide his time and focus on gaining his minister support. Only in this way will he build enough power to oppose the Queen Dowager.
Aslan looks at Iroro and chuckles as tears build in his eyes, and he looks down.
He said as though she is an enemy we must face. He faces Iroro in tears, but Iroro, she is our mother. How can you act as if it is normal for a son to treat his mother as an enemy? Is that not wrong? Iroro answers seriously. Ovi is well aware of our nation's history. It the royal house, it has been a rare occurrence that siblings like siblings and parents make enemies of their children. Aslan says, it wasn't so when sovereign father was alive. Eero answers coolly, wasn't it? Does we not suspect the majesty of things that are even more immoral? Aslan's pupils constrict in surprise. He grips his bed sheets tightly. That now he falls silent. Eero kneels to the ground, saying softly now, may Ovi forgive my boldness. I know Ovi has always yearned for Her Majesty's affections. Yet she must know by now that she has no such to spare. I only wish Ovi would save himself from further heartache. After silence in which Aslan thinks of Princess Ada, Prince Ortega, and Immerlev, he looks to Eero with denying stare, though tears still flow from his eyes, and says, we understand from now